Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody's good. What a contest we had on Thursday Night Football between those Cowboys and the Seahawks. Lots of points flying off the board. Gino, Dak, DK, Lamb. Everybody was eating big, so hopefully you got the points. What are we talking today? Boomer Bust, week number 13. We got to get you guys in the know on who else could be the big ballers this week. Feels like one of those weeks we could see a lot of points on the board as the Cowboys and Hawks basically started off on the right note. Let's start with Najee Harris, 104 points, 45% on the boom rate. Tide is turning for Najee, and as the season does go on with these Pittsburgh Steelers, booming 4 of the last 6 games. He's given us a decent floor, 12.3 on the average over those 6, while he's got 15.5 on the average in those 4 booms. Things are looking up for Najee at this point. Steelers do continue to ride the hot hand, though, with a Jalen Warren or a Najee, so it is week-to-week situation that we got to keep our tabs on. But facing the Cardinals, who hemorrhage points on the best of days in the run, I mean, TD upside should be coming for Najee Harris this week. Let's call a boom for Mr. Najee Harris. DeAndre Swift, 142 points, 63% on the boom rate. His booms have been falling down over the past 6 weeks. I mean, Swift has done this kind of yo-yo level of point production, booming then busting basically week to week, having a big contest versus the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, the Eagles should try again to establish the run, try to keep this defense honest, but perhaps this week will be PPR upside checkdowns to a DeAndre Swift to keep the defense honest. Facing another great defense, we have to expect Jalen Hurts is going to continue to run in this contest. A lot of tush-push, brotherly shove, once again, vulturing touchdown. So that is also what is crippling a DeAndre Swift over the last several weeks, but let's call a bust. But it's going to be close again this week, but you still got to likely start him, but it's going to be very difficult, so points will be tough to come by. Austin Eckler, 109 points, 50% on the boom rate. Excuse me. And while the Chargers, I mean, okay, they've been a hot mess this entire season, Austin Eckler has absolutely crippled us these past 2 weeks, but there is good news coming for Austin Eckler. I mean, while the Chargers season is on the line, Keenan Allen is also dealing with a quad injury, and while we never cheer for injuries, not what we do here, but one man's failure is another man's opportunity, and if Allen does sit or is limited in any way into some kind of decoy role in this contest, get ready for Captain Checkdown come to Austin Eckler's way, which should lift up his absolute upside. Let's call a boom either way for an Austin Eckler for the first time in 3 weeks. As you guys are dying to get into the fantasy football playoffs, Eckler should give you the business. Ramondre Stevenson, 124 points, 64% on the boom. Okay, and complete turmoil in this quarterback room for the New England Patriots come to great benefit for our guy, my guy, Dre. Booming in the last 3 games. I mean, nothing should suggest a fourth one isn't on the horizon and going to come his way, finding his way back into the end zone, getting more involved in the pass game. But Bailey Zappi is going to be the starting quarterback, gets the nod, and I mean, they should continued focus on the ground game for a Ramondre Stevenson. Even garbage time point productivity is definitely going to be here if they do get behind. So let's call another boom for my guy, Ramondre Stevenson. Wide receivers, Nico Collins. And these Houston Texans, 135 points, 70% on the boom. Nico has been booming for y'all basically all season long. The evolution of this Texans pass game has been nothing short of spectacular. Nico and Dell, I mean, fantastic. With the MVP candidate, come in with C.J. Stroud, rookie quarterback, coming off another near 20-point contest. Half PPR for Nico Collins this week. I mean, they're going to get the surging Broncos, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. And I mean, Nico should get a lot of Patrick Surtain, which does give me a lot of pause. I'm telling y'all, while Dell is dealing with a calf injury this week. They said he's good to go outside of anything happening on Friday or Saturday that should limit him. Nico should struggle to get open versus a great quality defensive back like a Patrick Surtain. I'm calling a bust this week. It's going to be very close. Touchdown upside is definitely here as well, but I'm thinking there's a bust potential for Nico this week going up against Surtain. Josh Downs, we're down for Downs. 92 points, 36 on the boom rate. Not great on the booms. And I mean, it's been a while since this rookie Josh Downs has seen a boom game. I mean, dealing with that knee injury definitely pulled him back a little bit. So a lot of the target share has been force-fed to a Michael Pittman. Downs busting 3 of the last 4 straight, busting 3 games, and after having 4 straight boom games. This week, we could see the other direction of these Indianapolis Colts going back to the pass game, spread the ball around while they play the Titans, who should key in on a Michael Pittman, leaving Downs to make plays. I'm hoping it is the case. Let's call back to boom for a Josh Downs. It's been a while. It's time for him to come back to the boom. Jahan Dotson, wow, I can't talk today. 88.5% or 88.5 points, 25% on the boom rate, and okay. Jahan has been basically an afterthought all season. It's been very difficult, but I mean, bye-week Armageddon is here like I'm saying, and we need guys to like Jahan Dotson to step up for us to be that top filler we require. The floor has definitely crept up these past several weeks to trust at least in the flex while having nothing less than 8 points with a topper of 20 in the last 5. There was a 0 in the middle of that as well. So, I mean, this week they do face the Miami Dolphins, and I fully expect Jalen Ramsey to be on Terry. Potentially we see Howard go up against Jahan. We'll see how that does go. They might rotate over to a Curtis Samuel as well, leaving potential target share to come to Jahan's side. It is high risk, high reward, but I'm going boom for a Jahan Dotson. We need him in a big way because, I mean, it's absolutely famine or feast or famine this week for us with all the bye week troubles. Chris Godwin, 96.5 points, only 27% on the boom. It has not been a good year consistency-wise for Chris Godwin. He's been consistent as a floor, but nothing else over top of that. But I mean, it's definitely on the lower end of the spectrum. Nothing higher than 15 points with a floor hovering around 6 every single week. Baker has been supporting Mike Evans to very high levels, which has been leaving, Godwin and in the back seat, waiting for, some more target share to come his way, not finding the end zone this week, facing a Panthers team who does cover wide receivers extremely well. So you got to believe a lot of focus is going to be going to a Mike Evans direction. K. Dotton and Chris Godwin should have bigger roles in this contest to move around of this Panthers defense. Let's call boom coming for the first time in 5 games for a Chris Godwin. Tight ends, Taysom Hill, okay. While Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed both dealing with injury, both could actually sit out this week. Missing this contest, Shahida is likelier on the side of not suiting up, where Chris Olave is still trying to pass concussion protocol very quickly. We'll see. They both could absolutely miss. If they do, this means the Saints will have to lean on Alvin Kamara and a Taysom Hill to move this offense quite a bit. If it wasn't for the fumble last week, Hill would have had another boom game, booming 3 out of the last 4, which should have been 4 out of the last 5. And I mean, always having the goal line upside, lack of, top-end talent due to injury on this offense could absolutely lift up a safer floor for a Taysom Hill this week. Let's call boom time for Taysom Hill. I find his way back into the end zone. Let's hope these Saints have figured things out in the red zone. George Kittle, 119 points, 54.5 on the boom. He's after booming 4 games in a row, he had a massive, bust game to boot. I mean, it's not good. He had a letdown this past week as they rolled to victory. They didn't necessarily require Kittle, scoring 19-plus half PPR points in those last 3 contests. He's been absolutely fantastic for us at the tight end spot. The 49ers have a massive contest, like I said, versus these Eagles, going up against the aspect where the Eagles do struggle versus pass catchers with Bradbury and Slay. They've seen better days. Kittle should have a big role in this contest as they try to establish the run versus a very good, stout front 7 of the Eagles. TD time is definitely coming for a George Kittle this week. I'm marking it today, man. It's a risk, obviously, to call out something like that, but I think he's getting back into the end zone. TD for George Kittle with a boom coming his way. Sam Laporte, 115 points, 54% on the boom as well. While the Lions, they lost to the Packers on Thanksgiving, and they get another tough test versus Saints defense on the road. The Honey Badger, man, Matthew, he's been playing absolutely fantastic, especially with the absence of Lattimore, and they should lean toward covering Laporta in this one, where Matthew should be basically locked in on this man. Sam is an obvious must-start every single week now with all the upside that he does possess, but this one feels like another bust over a boom that we saw last week. So, I mean, for the first time in 3 contests, it will be close again, but I'm calling a bust. It should be very close, but I don't think he gets over that threshold we're looking for tight ends. Evan Ingram, last one on the board, 82 points, 36% on the boom. Definitely fallen off this season when it comes to boom consistency rate for an Evan Ingram. And I mean, this man has not found the end zone all season long. Been the biggest problem. While he at least, while his Jags offense is moving in the right direction, trying to get Calvin Ridley involved. Jags keep winning. Ingram's got a decent floor, so it's safe to play him on the decent floor, but the upside has definitely been capped for this man facing the Bengals on Monday Night Football. There is potential here for an end zone trip. It's not out of the question to see him score his very first touchdown. So again, you can start an Evan Ingram this week, but playing the odds here, I mean, 1 boom in the last 7 games is nothing to be, excited about at this point. So let's call a bust once again for an Evan Ingram because we're playing the odds, playing it safe, and it does not look good for him to find that end zone, but it is possible once again. But there you have it. That is this week's edition of Boomer Bust Week 13. I got definitely start sit for you on Saturday, so definitely stay tuned for that. Get you ready for all the points that you guys require. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.